Welcome back, Dr. Seetharaman.
Good afternoon.
Today we will continue on the global citizen and one world concept.
Okay.
Can you give your insights on the major trends in global trade?
Global trade has not taken the momentum as it should. See, in substance, if a GDP is 1%, the trade should be twice. Essentially, the doubling of the GDP is the normal trend if the world and global growth is sustainable. But what we have seen in terms of the United States, the trade is just less than 2%. And again, with the market momentum getting rebuilt, it is improving to 2.6 to 2.7%. But still, the acceleration it needs to be there. Same story holds good for the entire South America. The trade is less than 3%. Europe is doing less than 2%. China is doing almost 8% trade. India is doing between 6 to 7%. Middle East is double because predominantly it is export-import driven. Oil and natural gas and petrochemicals, that is again 8 to 9%. We have seen the momentum, and overall the bigger picture is between developed world and developing world. If I have to do the split, developed world is doing 3% and between 3 to 3.25%, when developing world is doing between 4 to 5%. That's a very, very minimal performance. That needs stimulation. It means global growth has to come in track, and global trade will need acceleration in substance.
How would you say bilateral trade has evolved between the US, China and India?
It's moving in the right direction. US, a $16 trillion economy. China, again, it's trying to reach the double digit in terms of overall performance. And again, purchasing power parity terms, if you look at it in 2013 versus 2030, if I have to make a comparison, China will be ranking still second, but when it comes to overall purchasing power parity, it might exceed as well. There is a possibility it might exceed if we continue to see 78% growth, and America will be placed second. India will be placed third, ahead of Brazil. Japan will be way below. Again, the difference between India and Brazil is huge. There's a quantum leap in real substance. So China, America, India are all becoming formidable, and that trend continues even in 2050. There are enough predictions. Institutions like PwC has made this prediction, and we have seen the growing momentum. Young population, huge purchasing power, spending habits, and again, consumerism, the market drives the change. With the developed world getting aged, there is a real prosperity in the emerging markets. A place like India is growing in the right direction, and again, with the decelerations of the global economy, they have to get back in track in terms of fiscal consolidation. That's a real challenge. Otherwise, market factor dictates. Purchasing power parity gives enormous value advantage for India and China in the global ranking.
So what would you say are your long-term expectations or projections on the global economy?
Long-term expectation is, say for example, 2030, looking at the income level, US stands first. Looking at the productivity and performance level, China stands first, and India stands 3 in both the occasions. 2050, there is a contentious. China will arguably be number 1, and India and again US will be close to each other. There will be a marginal difference between these two countries in purchasing power parity terms. That's the change we are talking about. Today, it's all demographic structure, dynamics which redefine the game. Market dynamics are changing based on population and consumerism.
How do you think India and US can enhance their collaborations in technology?
It's a growing opportunity. See, if you look at the business process outsourcing, knowledge process outsourcing, developed world needs, whether it's healthcare or education, it needs business process outsourcing. You need technology to be managed from remote. At the same time, delivery lines are adhered to, and that's what healthcare institutions and again distance learning are all happening. Technology is playing a bigger role, whether it is GE, whether it is, whether it is Apple or the growing reflection of IBM or Microsoft. They are all huge consumers in real response to changing dynamics in the emerging markets. That's what is happening. Now with mobility, computer playing a bigger role in handheld devices, the change is faster. India has got almost 74 million internet users, of course second to China, and again US topping the list. But the pace at which the change is happening in India, more than 19 million mobiles are being purchased every year. That's significant. That's significant. 1/10 of every production in the world is being bought in India. So that's going to stimulate the overall technology breakup, the way we do the business, the way we do have lifestyle. It's all getting changed.
Could you tell us about the areas in scientific research where India and China cooperate with the US?
That's a very important area. Research and development, Americans have believed in it. They spent nearing $500 billion. That's R&D is their strength. Intellectual property is their strength. It's Microsoft, it's IBM, it's Yahoo, it's Facebook, it's Twitter. These are all because of the huge innovation they have managed to generate. And they spend money. In 2020, China wants to allocate 2.5% of the GDP towards research and development. India is also, again, has to allocate a considerable amount of revenue towards spending for these capital expenditures. Research is very, very vital for us to see through. But as on date, collaboration, processing, replications is taking place by paying for copyrights.
How can India and the US work on various initiatives in the field of education?
Huge opportunity. Now, if you look at the education, university grant commissions, again, whether it is MIT, Master Institute of Technology, or Indian Institute of Science, or Indian Institute of Technology, Bangalore, or Chennai, they are all coming together in terms of collaborations. India needs more advanced educations. Today, global trotting is very common for students. They all were having huge opportunity in US education. Now US education is coming to the rest of the world. That's what we have seen, the reflection. India is generating younger population, and they need healthcare and education. Science and technology will be integral part of the overall economic framework, and that's where the opportunity lies for collaboration. Whether India, China, America, they can come together and converge in real response to changing dynamics.
So how do you think Indian medical tourism has benefited the global community?
It's a huge opportunity. It's cost effective. Tourism, take for example Tamil Nadu or Kerala. This is a huge opportunity for doing low cost treatment, at the same time working in an environment which is so pleasant, backed by waters, lagoons. In place like Kerala, you have not only you have a huge comfort in terms of service standards, and also the opportunity to relax in those environments is getting evolved to be the fine combinations. So more and more tourists are now visiting. Now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and now India is a hot spot. They have seen the diversity in terms of culture, so tourism is attractive. At the same time, if it is for medical reasons, and if it can be done cost effectively, it's 1/10 of the cost what you're spending in an advanced economy. Why not? And that's the reflection we have seen. Mass exodus from the West to the Indian economy to have a treatment in real response.
Could you tell us about the recent technological developments between China and the US?
Yes, we have seen iPhone Apple is coordinating with China Mobile. That's a very significant. Again, Yahoo, Baidu is playing a bigger role, and more American corporates, whether Twitter or Google, they want the Chinese market. They want to have access to the Chinese economy because of the demographic structure. And China Mobile is a great deal, and that will penetrate huge interconnectivity between P2P, people to people, and that will change the lifestyle. The way we do the life routines is changing because of technology, and technology is there in US. That gets penetrated in places like India and China, then we have an interesting game to play.
Thank you, Dr. Seetharaman.
My pleasure. Thank you.